This story is completely based on my imagination. It has no connection with any real person, celebrity, or idol. All characters, events, and situations are fictional and created only for entertainment. If you don't enjoy this type of story, you're not forced to read it. Please respect the author's creativity and avoid unnecessary hate. Thank you for reading. Warning: no smoking, no one under 18. Purple Heart. He never lost a girl until he met the one who never wanted him. Lay. The campus heartthrob. The boy every girl wants, but no girl has ever truly had. For him, love is just a game. Hearts are meant to be won and forgotten. Commitment has never existed in his dictionary. Then Hiha walks into his life. She doesn't blush when he smiles. She doesn't chase him. She doesn't even spare him a second glance. For the first time, Lay's charm fails. What begins as a challenge to break her attitude slowly turns into something he never expected. Love. Now the boy who once played with hearts is the one losing his own. But Hiha isn't just an ordinary girl. Behind her silence lies a past she refuses to reveal, and some hearts are much harder to heal than they are to break. When ego turns into obsession. When hatred begins to feel like love. And when fate forces two completely opposite souls together. Who will fall first? And more importantly, who will end up getting hurt? Some stories begin with a confession. This one begins with rejection. Red Heart. Chapter 1: His Perfect Ego. Some people believe in love, while others believe love is nothing more than a game. 8:30 a.m. The first day of a new semester at Skyline International University. The campus was buzzing with excitement. Freshers nervously searched for their classrooms. Old friends reunited after the holidays. Laughter echoed through every hallway. Yet, none of that seemed to matter. Because everyone's attention was fixed on one place. The main gate. Has he arrived yet? I heard he's coming today. Oh my God. I hope I get to talk to him. A group of girls stood near the entrance, constantly checking the road. Then, a sleek black sports car slowly pulled up in front of the university. The entire campus seemed to fall silent. The driver's door opened. Black boots. Ripped black jeans. A crisp white shirt beneath a luxury black jacket. His perfectly styled hair moved gently with the morning breeze. A confident smirk rested on his lips. The kind of smile that could make anyone lose their heart. Lay. The most popular student on campus. Rich. Handsome. Brilliant. Captain of the basketball team. Every girl wanted him. Every boy wanted to be him. But there was one thing everyone knew about Lay. He never believed in love. To him, feelings were temporary. Relationships were entertainment. And broken hearts were never his problem. As he walked through the gate, girls immediately surrounded him. Good morning, Lay. You look amazing today. Lay, can we have lunch together? He casually smiled and waved. Not because he cared, but because he knew exactly how much attention he received. His best friend, Ryan, laughed as he walked beside him. Looks like another girl is going to confess today. Lay shrugged carelessly. They always do. Ryan chuckled. And you always reject them. Lay smirked. I never asked them to fall for me. They had barely reached the main building when a girl suddenly stepped in front of Lay. She looked nervous. Her hands trembled. I need to tell you something. Lay stopped walking. What is it? She took a deep breath. I like you. Silence. Students nearby instantly turned to watch. Everyone waited for Lay's answer. The girl looked at him with hopeful eyes. Lei stared at her for a few seconds. Then smiled. "You're sweet." A smile appeared on her face. But it disappeared the next second. "But I don't love anyone." His voice was calm. Cold. Emotionless. "And I never will." The girl's eyes filled with tears. Without another word, Lei walked away. He didn't even look back. Ryan sighed. That was harsh. Lei slipped one hand into his pocket. "If people choose to fall in love with me, that's their decision. Not my responsibility." Meanwhile, at the other side of the campus, an old city bus came to a stop. A young girl stepped off quietly. She wore simple clothes. Her backpack looked old. Her hair wasn't perfectly styled. No expensive accessories. No makeup. Nothing about her tried to attract attention. Yet, there was something peaceful about her. Her name was Hiha. She looked up at the enormous university building. Her heart raced with excitement. "So, this is where my new journey begins." She gently opened her old notebook. On the very first page, written neatly in blue ink, were the words, "One day, I will become a novelist whose stories are read all over the world." She smiled softly. It wasn't a dream she shared with many people. Because every time she did, people laughed. Stories don't change lives. Writing won't make you successful. Find a real career. But Hiha never stopped believing. She carefully placed the notebook back into her bag, took a deep breath, and walked toward the university. She had no idea that somewhere inside this campus, there was a boy who laughed at love today, but one day would completely lose himself for the girl who never even noticed him. End of Chapter 1, Part 1. Every story begins with two strangers who have no idea they are about to change each other's lives. Blackheart Open Book. To be continue. Chapter 2. The First Collision. Sometimes, the person who changes your life is the one who doesn't even notice you. The first lecture had just ended. Students rushed out of their classrooms, filling the corridors with laughter and chatter. Lei walked through the hallway with his usual confidence. His friends surrounded him, joking and laughing as girls secretly stole glances at him. "Lei!" A girl called from behind. She quickly ran toward him with a neatly wrapped gift box. "I bought this for you." Lei looked at the gift for a second before smiling politely. "You should have saved your money." "I don't accept gifts." The girl's smile faded. Lei walked away without another glance. Ryan sighed. "You really don't have a heart, do you?" Lei smirked. "Hearts only complicate life." Meanwhile, Hiha sat quietly under a large tree in the university garden. Her notebook rested on her lap. She wasn't writing a class note. She was writing a story. Every sound, every face, every emotion around her became part of her imagination. She smiled softly as her pen moved across the page. Every person hides a story behind their smile. Suddenly, a basketball rolled toward her feet. It hit her bag and stopped. A loud voice echoed across the court. "Hey! Can you throw the ball back?" Hiha looked up. A group of boys stood on the basketball court. In the middle of them, Lei. Everyone expected the girl to become nervous. Most girls would happily run to him. Hiha simply picked up the ball. She threw it back with perfect aim. Lei caught it effortlessly. For a second, their eyes met. Lei expected a smile, a blush, something. Instead, Hiha looked away. She picked up her notebook and continued writing as if nothing had happened. Lei frowned. That's it? Ryan laughed. Looks like she doesn't know who you are. Lei chuckled confidently. Everyone knows me. Ryan looked toward Hiha. Apparently, not everyone. For the first time in years, someone had treated Lei like an ordinary student. No admiration. No excitement. No special attention. Just nothing. Lei couldn't explain why. But that tiny moment stayed in his mind. Who was she? And why didn't she care? Not far away, Hiha quietly finished her paragraph. She closed her notebook and whispered to herself. Characters who think the world revolves around them always have the loneliest endings. She had no idea that the very boy she had unknowingly described would one day become the biggest chapter of her own story. End of chapter 2. The first meeting wasn't magical, but it was unforgettable. Blackheart Open Book. Chapter 3, The Truth Behind His Smile. Not every smiling face deserves your trust, and not every first impression tells the whole truth. It was the third day of college. The soft morning sunlight spread across the campus as a cool breeze rustled through the trees, bringing smiles to the students' faces. Like always, Hiha arrived early. In her hands was the same old diary, the one that carried every dream she had ever dared to dream. She sat quietly in the library, working on a new story. Her pen moved gracefully across the page. The most dangerous character in a story isn't always the villain, sometimes it's the one who smiles the most. Just then, the librarian approached her. Hiha, you accidentally left your sociology book in class 3 of the old academic block. Hiha immediately stood up. Thank you, sir. Holding her diary close, she walked toward the old building. As usual, the place was almost deserted. The silence echoed through the empty corridors. As she reached the third floor, she heard laughter coming from a locked classroom. At first, she ignored it. But a moment later, a girl's cheerful giggle caught her attention. Out of curiosity, Hiha glanced through the small glass window on the classroom door. Inside, Lei was standing very close to a girl. The girl smiled before leaning in, and they shared a brief kiss. Hiha froze. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Instinctively, she covered her mouth with both hands and quickly looked away. Only one thought crossed her mind. So, the rumors were true. He really doesn't care about anyone's feelings. Without wasting another second, she turned around and hurried away. Meanwhile, Lei noticed a shadow passing by the classroom window. He immediately stepped outside. But the corridor was already empty. The only thing left behind was a small bookmark lying on the floor. He bent down and picked it up. Written neatly in blue ink were the words, "Words stay forever." Below it, in tiny letters, was a name. Hiha. For the first time, Lei read her name aloud. Hiha. Ryan walked over and looked at the bookmark. Whose is it? Lei slipped it into his pocket. Maybe, the girl who looked at me without any reaction. Ryan laughed. Since when did you start caring about one girl's opinion? Lei didn't answer. But for the first time, a question lingered in his mind. Why does she always stay so far away from me? Meanwhile, Hiha sat alone on a bench in the college garden. She took a deep breath, opened her diary, and slowly wrote. Some people are so beautiful that the whole world falls in love with them, but their hearts remain just as empty. She gently closed her diary. From that moment on, there was only one word she associated with Lei. Arrogant. She had no idea that this one misunderstanding would one day become the biggest turning point in both of their lives. End of chapter 3. Sometimes, an incomplete truth is enough to send an entire story in the wrong direction. Blackheart Open Book. Chapter 4. The Girl Who Walked Away. The people who are hardest to impress are often the ones who teach us the greatest lessons. The next morning, the entire campus buzzed with its usual energy. Students laughed, chatted, and hurried toward their classrooms. But someone wasn't paying attention to any of it. Lei. For the first time in years, his mind wasn't occupied by basketball, parties, or the girls constantly surrounding him. Instead, it was stuck on a single name. Hiha. The bookmark was still in his pocket. He took it out once again. Words stay forever. A faint smile appeared on his lips. So, your name is Hiha. Ryan noticed him staring at it. You're still carrying that bookmark? Lei quickly slipped it back into his pocket. I was just curious. Ryan laughed. No, my friend, you're interested. Lei rolled his eyes. Don't be ridiculous. But somewhere deep inside, even he wasn't sure anymore. Meanwhile, Hiha quietly entered her classroom. She chose the last bench near the window. As always, she opened her diary before class started. Writing made her feel calm. It was the only place where she could truly be herself. Just then, the classroom door opened. Lei walked inside with Ryan. The girls instantly started whispering. Lei is here. He looks so handsome today. Lei ignored everyone. His eyes searched the room. And then, they stopped. On Hiha. She was completely lost in writing. She didn't even notice him. Lei smiled slightly. So she's here. Ryan noticed. Don't tell me you're looking for her. Lei replied casually. I just want to know why she acts like I don't exist. Ryan laughed. Maybe because she has better things to do. The professor hadn't arrived yet. Lei slowly walked toward Hiha's desk. He stopped beside her. Still, she kept writing. He cleared his throat. No response. He knocked lightly on the desk. Hiha finally looked up. Their eyes met. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. Lei smiled. Hi. Hiha looked at him with a calm expression. Can I help you? Her voice was polite, but distant. Lei wasn't expecting that. I think you dropped this yesterday. He placed the bookmark on her notebook. Hiha looked at it, then quietly picked it up. Thank you. She placed it inside her diary. No smile. No excitement. Nothing. Lei stood there, waiting for the conversation to continue. But Hiha simply lowered her eyes and started writing again, as if he wasn't even standing there. Ryan, watching from a distance, burst into laughter. Told you. Lei frowned. This girl is unbelievable. As the lecture ended, Hiha packed her books and walked out. Lei instinctively followed her. Hiha. She stopped, but didn't turn around immediately. After a moment, she looked back. Yes? Lei crossed his arms. Why do you avoid me? Hiha remained silent for a second. Then she answered calmly. I don't avoid strangers. Lei looked confused. But you know who I am. Hiha nodded. I know your name. She paused. But I don't know your character. Her words hit him harder than he expected. Before Lei could say anything, he had turned around and walked away. leaving him standing alone in the middle of the corridor. For the first time, someone hadn't been impressed by his popularity. Someone had judged him by his actions instead of his appearance. Lei watched her disappear into the crowd. A strange feeling settled in his chest. It wasn't anger. It wasn't attraction. Not yet. It was curiosity. And curiosity would soon become the beginning of something much deeper. End of chapter 4. Sometimes, the strongest rejection isn't spoken with anger, it's spoken with silence. Blackheart Open Book.